the Plotcast podcast with the Potty Plotters.
Hello, and here we are again. Season 2, Episode 2, and I'm Julia.
And I'm Elaine. That sounded like a proper posh BBC voice, that did, Julia? What's the matter with you?
I don't know. I've come over all light-headed anyway. Have you learnt it yet?
Sort of, yeah. Go on then, right then. You know, one day we won't have to do this. We'll have somebody to do it for us. Gareth could do it for us, couldn't he? It could be his speaking part.
Do you want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to get in touch with us, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram and X, which is formerly known as Twitter, at Potty Plotters. You can find us on TikTok at The Potty Plotters. You can email us, naughtycorner at pottyplotters.uk, or check out the website, pottyplotters.uk.
Well done.
That's especially for... Is it Dawn?
Dawn, that's especially for Dawn.
I'll isolate the bit on the episode just so she can just keep listening over that. Right, get on with it then.
So people have been getting in touch with us, haven't they?
It's amazing.
And Hazel Chambers, who we interviewed in the last series from Australia, she's been busy sending us pictures. And actually, I'm quite jealous because over there, it is the height of summer, isn't it?
It is, but that makes it all peculiar, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. But she's got similar weather conditions to us, but it's just all topsy-turvy. But we do like receiving them, and we've had pictures of her squashes, which look very healthy, and we've advised her, when to pick them. But she wants to know how you avoid staining your hands when peeling beetroot, because I think you mentioned something before.
I've said that before, but it's perhaps just the way that we just do it all the time. But what you do, instead of cutting the top leaves off the beet, what you do is you screw them round and pull them off, and then when you cook them, what I always do is I always peel them when they're warm. That way the red that's maybe on your hand just comes straight off. But you do something different.
Yeah, so what I do, I always, again, exactly like you, screw the tops off, so twist the leaves off the top of the bulb, and then I give them a scrub, wrap them in tinfoil, and then just pop them in the oven and bake them, and then usually give them around the same time you would a jacket potato, same size, and then when they're kind of just going warm, then I take them out of the tinfoil, and literally the skin just slides off, Elaine.
Now then, Julia, while you were talking, you made me think of Kev Plot too.
Ooh.
I know, it's a worry. But I'm going to ask Kev, who is a microwave king, if he has ever cooked beetroot in a microwave.
How about an air fryer?
Oh, he's got one of them as well.
He has.
Have you got one?
Mm-hmm. I'm not cooking beetroots in it.
He doesn't like
beetroots go nowhere near our house.
If anybody out there has cooked beetroot in either the air fryer, deep fat fryer,
microwave,
indeedy, then what we'll do is ask them to get in touch with us, because Gareth just told them how.
And Michelle's been in contact with us again, Michelle Varney, and this really made you laugh, didn't it?
Yeah, because
she's on our planet, isn't she, Michelle?
It should be the other way round, Julia, that we're saying things to make people laugh, but they actually make us laugh, don't they? Now, I know we talked about her before, because now she does have these veg boxes every week or whenever, and it doesn't sound like she's particularly good in the kitchen. I don't know. But she's so funny, because what she's done is she's been trying to poach an egg for her husband the other day, and she couldn't break it. She couldn't break it because she realised it was the one that she had boiled the day before. And I thought, I think that we could do a little series, What's Michelle Done Now? Something like that.
I'm going to tell you a funny story about that.
Oh, no, you've done it, haven't you?
No.
Oh, is this confession?
No, well, it's just a funny story.
I mean, hold on.
Confessions of allotmenteers.
Well, it's not really a confession of allotmenteers. It's just showing you how not right my husband is, really. So, anyway, he's got a pet egg. It's a boiled egg, and he calls it Steve, and it has been living in our house for a year, Elaine. This is true, and we picked it up on a holiday that we went to. We went to London, and it was in the breakfast.
It was what? what?
It was on the breakfast menu, these boiled eggs, and I don't know why, but he picked it up and he's brought it home with him, and he's drawn a face on it, calls it Steve. Do you think I should have him sectioned?
I would say so. That's really not right,
No, I know.
is it?
I know.
Is it still got a shell on?
Yeah. And I think it's turning a bit blue on the outside anyway. It explains why we are like we are, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't compete with that, but it's one for Michelle to think about.
The Plotcast podcast with the Potty Plotters.
So we've come outside, Elaine. It's a bit blooming cold, isn't it?
Well, it's not the warmest weather, Julia.
No.
I'm just looking at, what is that?
I'm going to show you something in a minute.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to show you. Hide it now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah. So last year we absolutely loved doing the flowers, didn't we? We loved giving them away. We loved doing the wedding, even though it was it was just lovely. And then we gave loads and loads away. So we decided we were going even more flowers this year.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we both absolutely loved were the Snapdragons, Antirrhinums.
Yeah.
I mean, they remind me of when I was a kid and going to my grandparents, and they used to have them all down the driveway.
Right,
and I used to stop and pinch their little mouths and make them talk.
Yeah.
I love them, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've both been on the internet. Funnily, we've not even discussed it, have we?
No.
And bought loads of more Antirrhinums.
Yeah.
Now, I've gone for a really, really tall one, Elaine. In fact, it's probably going to be as tall as me.
Well,
I know you're a bit staggered about that one. Yeah. So, but we are going to grow them. And the problem with Antirrhinum seeds, I don't know if anyone's grown them before, but they are so tiny. They're even tinier than poppy seeds.
Right,
They are.
okay. Well, this is going to be interesting, and how you can see them.
Yeah, in this weather. Thank you, I've got my glasses on, excuse
Okay.
me. But in this weather, I'm a bit concerned if we get some wind blowing up. But what I am going to do...
get concerned if you've got wind blowing up.
So anyway, over these winter months, I know you've said I've had too much time on my hands, and I have been watching YouTube videos, and I watched a very interesting lady doing Antirrhinum seeds, and we normally sow them in one of these trays and prick them out and everything. So, but what she'd got a cell tray like this, and all she did was fill the cell tray with multi-purpose compost, and then give the compost a really good spray with a sprayer like we've got.
Yeah.
Now, I'm doing it this way. I've set some already in our cell trays like we normally do, because I've got loads of varieties.
Okay.
We're going to have hundreds of Snapdragons this year. But I'm trialling this way because hopefully it will save one of the pricking out processes. So although it's a bit fiddly at the start, it might actually save us in the long run.
Okay.
Now, I bought these from Chilton Seeds, and it's a variety called Potomac. I don't know. Potomac lavender. Potomac lavender. And it is a tall Snapdragon. So what I'm going to do, and I don't think you get many seeds, but as I said, these are the weeniest seeds you are ever going to see. So what I've done, you can see them, you can't even see them, can you see them now? Look. So what I'm going to do, don't even know which is the top and bottom. I've got myself a little glass jar, glass jar here, and I'm going to tip them into there like that. Yeah. Now I've forgotten my glass that I meant to have a little bit of water in, so I'm going to just spray some water on there. So the reason I've got my toothpick with a ladybird on is because it's the only toothpick I could find, so it's got a ladybird on the end.
Right,
so,
an interesting dinner at your house, wouldn't it? Anyway,
but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the toothpick, dab it in water, a bit of water, and then I'm going to collect the seed on the end.
Just one?
Can you see?
Yes, I can.
Just
actually,
one.
yeah.
And then I'm going to dab it in there. And then it's disappeared. And then I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to keep doing this and fill all the cells up with just one
in each cell.
One in each cell. And I'm going to keep doing that. And although it's quite a long process, can you see it does work? It does literally work. So I'm going to dab them in there. Now, when I've done all of them, and I'm not going to do that because it might take me some time, and Gareth's not going to do one of them speedy up videos.
And the kettle is boiling.
Kettle's boiling. But all I'm going to do is carry on filling each cell up with this method, and then there's no covering over of these seeds because they are so tiny, Elaine.
See, the only problem that I've got, Julia, is the packet that I've got has got 750 seeds in it. So when you said the kettle's boiling and Gareth might not want to film it, actually, I've got a very busy week.
Well, I've only got about 40 seeds in here, so that's not going to take me that long.
No, all right. Yeah.
But you've been greedy and got 750, haven't you? So, but you're going to have to thin them out and prick them all out. Yeah, I'm not, because they'll have all... Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But, that is the way that we're doing the Snapdragons. We're trialling 2 different methods. Let's see.
Let's go back to the polytunnel.
Okay.
Hints and tips for shortcuts to success. The Potty Plotters Plotcast.
We're back in the polytunnel again. Thank goodness for that. And we do actually get stuck in on those plots, don't we? And I know we've only just shown a little bit of outside and seed sowing, but we have been at every opportunity when the weather's been fine on the plots, doing what we need to do. I tell you what I've been doing this year. I mean, it's horrified poor Jerry behind us, because Jerry is the master digger on site. As you know, dig. I mean, he digs about 8 plots on site. And for the last couple of years, he has been digging on my plot, half of it. When I've not had time, he's been digging on there. And this year, I have made the decision that all of my plot now is going completely no dig.
Okay.
So that has really horrified Jerry, because now he's not got my plot to dig. But I just thought, again, like you with the raised beds, let's look at how to make things easier. And as you know, on my plot, on the left-hand side, I've been no dig, trialling it for the last 6 years. And I have to say, it's brilliant, and it's so easy to maintain. And now the experiment is over, really, because I'm convinced that why would you do all the extra work of digging when you don't need to? I'm not saying no dig is no work, because it is still work, but I have started the process of turning the other side into no dig.
So I've seen that you've been digging, and then you've been collecting loads of cardboard.
Yes, so what I've done is I've gone round where I'm going and I've dug out any perennial weeds. And
what's a perennial weed then, Julia, for people who've never heard these before?
Right, well, perennial weeds tend to be, I mean, it's hard to go through them all here, but they tend to have very long root systems. And what happens is they will come back, they're there year on year, and, they will survive all conditions, really. So, and all you have to do is leave a bit of the root system in place and it'll grow again. So that's what I've done. I've cleared it as much as I can of any perennial weeds, and I've put down the cardboard just as another layer, and now I am putting well-rotted horse manure on the top as my organic matter. Some used compost that I had in tubs that we'd had last year, and literally I'm building up about a depth 6 to 8 inches on top of the cardboard, and we'll be away with the no dig then.
Brilliant. So that's what you've been up to.
Yeah.
What I'm going to recommend to everybody is don't be in a big hurry.
No.
We're only into February. Planning is essential. And this time, if you plan where and what you're going to grow, you'll not go wrong. What I will say is, when you are offered, this is what everybody's got to practice, when you are offered plants by people that you did not think you were going to be using, such as, I remember, certain people, cauliflowers.
Yes.
And this certain person had said yes to 6 cauliflowers plants that were given later in the season, around about April, and really struggled with them. And I said, why are you growing them? You don't even like them. He said, because somebody gave me them. Right, there is no obligation to keep saying yes to everything on an allotment site. Grow what you want to grow and grow what you enjoy. So think very carefully, and although you might be tempted by 10 rows of perhaps beetroot or potatoes, realistically think how many you are going to use and work it out accordingly. I was talking to Eric and Jackie about it yesterday, and that is exactly what they're doing too. So think about it and plan it and get the seeds.
I mean, we've been working with a community plot, haven't we? And one thing we have done is set out a plan of things for them to grow, and we've done it on the basis of doing a variety of plants, but also most productivity for their needs. But it really is about, if you sit down and plan it in advance while you've got these miserable days and everything, it does pay dividends. And think, if you do want to grow, say, carrots, think about succession sowing. So don't grow them all at once, grow them a couple of weeks between them, so they're all ready at different stages.
And don't worry if you don't know what succession planting is, or that you don't know how to grow something, because over the next 12 months we're going to tell you how to grow virtually any food product, I would say, that you can physically grow in this country. Or in Australia. Hazel, don't lose faith. Or faith, I should say.
Faith, no.
Contact the Potty Plotters anytime on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Potty Plotters, or email naughtycorner@pottyplotters.uk.
Now is the time to be planting your chillies, Elaine.
I think the way to remember it is plant chillies while it's chilly.
Yes. Oh, that's clever.
I know, I'm quite clever at times, aren't I? I just thought of it. Right then. Why do we plant them now then? Why don't we plant them in the summer?
Well, we need to plant them now because they have a very long growing season. So they take quite a while to actually get germinated. So they can take about 14 to 21 days to actually get started. And then once they're up and running, depending on the variety, they can take quite a while to get to a point where they're putting flowers on and will be ready to produce fruit.
So have you got to always do it in a greenhouse or a polytunnel? Can you grow these outside?
You can grow them outside. We have seen Martin Plot 1 grow them quite successfully on his plot outside. And of course, the warmer the weather, the more suitable the conditions are for growing them outside. And, depending on the variety that you've got, if we've not got a very good summer, then the fruit might not ripen to the same degree as it would inside the polytunnel or greenhouse. But certainly you will have some kind of chilli to harvest. Another thing that you can do if you've got a conservatory or you have got a very bright window, there are varieties that you could grow in those conditions. So again, it's about looking at the seed packets, at looking at how big the plant grows, what kind of fruit it produces. So remember, of course, chilies can get extremely hot. I can't remember the word that they use to kind of monitor it, but they go into millions, don't they?
Yeah.
The scale.
Burn your tongue off, Isky.
Yeah.
I think that's what
scale,
it is.
Yeah. So, look at where it's suited to you, really. And but now is definitely the time to be setting those seeds.
So we're doing cayenne, and we're doing cayenne because later actually it's not until December, but we'll take all the peppers, the chilies off later. Chili peppers. So, some people do call them peppers, don't they?
But they are.
But
they're the same family as peppers, but of course peppers are sweet, whereas chilies are hot. So.
And we're doing the cayenne so that when we do our edible wreaths later in November, December, that we use the fruit for that. But the other good thing about chilies is don't worry about growing too many, because you can later in the season, when they've actually formed, you can freeze them. You can make them into so many different things. Chili jam is always gorgeous, and also you can cook with them for so many different recipes, I think. But they do keep a long time. We dry them as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to do then?
Well, what I was going to say, if people are setting chili seeds now, it's really important that they are kept warm. So unless you've got a heated greenhouse or your polytunnel's getting very hot, don't start them off there. They need to go home with you. They need to be on a windowsill over a radiator, but they do need quite a consistent high heat to get them germinated.
So all that you would do is a packet of them here, cayenne peppers, and you've got a tray. You only need a small tray, or if you want to do them
in the plant pot.
Or do you remember when we collect so many of the clear, I haven't got one with me at the moment, the clear cellophane containers that you get fruit in the supermarket from. So you need about 3 inches of multi-purpose compost over the bottom of that. And then what you always do is you spray it first, don't you, to get it damp.
Yeah.
And then literally sprinkle the seeds, but carefully so they don't touch one another, over the top of the compost that's damp. And then just sprinkle either... Haven't you used vermiculite before?
I have, yes. So vermiculite is a very light substance, and it will keep the heat in there, and that's really useful for starting seedlings like that.
Okay. If you haven't got vermiculite, you can just add some more compost, but a little tiny fraction of it over the top. Yeah. And then, as you say, do you have to water it again after that?
No, I never water it again, because there's enough moisture once you've sprayed it. But the most important thing is then you either put a top on your container, or you put it in a clear plastic bag and seal it.
Could you put cling film over it, Julia?
You could do, yeah.
Okay, that will keep the heat in.
Absolutely.
And then put something underneath, because every bottom needs a hole.
It does.
And we don't want any of the moisture. No, we don't want the moisture coming out either onto the windowsills.
No.
That causes a lot of problems.
No.
Top-notch advice, no Latin included. The Potty Plotters Plotcast.
Pests and problems on the plot, Elaine.
Lots of people have contacted us about this and how we deal with it. Well, you've threatened him, haven't you?
Yeah. I've said, if you don't stop it, you're not having a cuppa.
And that's enough. It's kept him off.
Yeah.
That's Kev Plot too. But there are loads and loads of problems that we deal with on the plot, because we do say it's a war zone out there, don't we?
Yeah.
So enthusiastic young people gallop on through the gate. It's the most exciting thing they've ever done, getting an allotment, and we sort of smash that enthusiasm out of them. And we do it. Gareth's nodding, which is a little worry. But we do it simply because we're realists, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, on our plots in the summer, when you come down, half of it will be covered over, the other half will have something, or will have already put something down to stop the pests. We maybe have planted certain things alongside plants to deter the pests. So, you know, you're always thinking, what is going to eat this plant rather than me?
Right, and I think that is what we need to concentrate on, because if you don't protect it, you will never get to eat it, taste it.
No.
You will never get to look at it, because something else will already have eaten it.
Yeah.
So from now on then, if we talk about pests, it will be the pests according to what we're going to be setting. Nothing at the moment is in our allotments. We've not put any onions in, no shallots, no nothing. We're just going to leave it for a couple more weeks before the warm weather comes along, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the soil starts to warm up.
I mean, what do you think is the biggest pest that people mention on an allotment?
Slugs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, by far. And then birds.
Yeah.
Because pigeons and magpies desecrate the old peas, the flowers as soon as they come out. We've got parrots as well, and they tend to go for the fruit. So it's that, but I would say that it's slugs.
Yeah.
So we will talk everything to do with slugs, and we'll do some little tests as well. They're called experiments, aren't they?
They are,
You've actually called them mistakes before, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, because you told me we should never admit our mistakes. We should always call them experiments.
The Plotcast Podcast with the Potty Plotters.
We've got a little advert, haven't we, Julia?
Yeah. Our friend Jonathan, well, we think he's our friend, but Jonathan's
he probably would
probably deny that. But our friend Jonathan Mosley is doing a floral demonstration on the 17th of April at Horsley Golf Club, and that's going to be in aid of Cancer Research UK. Now, we went to this last year and it was magnificent, wasn't it? It was very entertaining, and the event itself has got a meal included in it, and it was a lovely day out. And what is beautiful about Jonathan's demonstrations, not only is he a magician with all things floral, but also at the end of it there's usually a raffle, and you get the opportunity to take his demonstration home with you. Now, when I say take them home, we have had such a chuckle last year, didn't we? Because to be honest, some of the floral displays that he creates are as big as a car.
Absolutely.
And we did watch these two ladies last year who had the centrepiece trying to get it into, well, it must have been a Nissan Micra, wasn't it? And, you know, I don't know how they got it home. We kind of left them to it. But it's well worth going to. We'll be there as well. And, last year we did stand in as waitresses because they were a bit short-staffed.
And photographer.
Yeah, we can do anything. Yeah, we turn our hand to anything and we are free. So what more can you want? But, we'll be there. So have a think and get along there with us.
And have a look at his website, Jonathan Mosley, whatever it might be. But if you look up Jonathan Mosley, international floral designer, you'll find it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well done. Anyway, thanks for getting in touch with us again. And next time, we've dragged one of our friends onto the podcast, haven't we?
Loose term, Julia.
Well, yeah, we have to say friends because then it sounds like we've got a lot of friends, but actually these are just people that we know, aren't they? Yes. But anyway, we've got Simon, who's the plantsman.
Yes.
And we're going to have him talking about fruit trees.
Yeah, and all the language that goes with that, because I'm completely baffled. Most people that listen to this will be. But then it's only the beginning of the season, so they've got loads to listen to, haven't they?
The Plotcast podcast with the Potty Plotters is an Amberland Media production.